The NBA Finals literally just ended about 10 minutes ago with the Boston Celtics beating the Dallas Mavericks 4-1, which means tomorrow the new season, the 2024-2025 NBA season, will officially begin. And as we can see here, the draft will be in 8 hours and 20 days. And first on the clock is my Atlanta Hawks. Now, I'm going to be frank with everyone watching this video right now. Before the Hawks got the first overall pick, I could have not given two craps about this draft. This is one of the worst draft classes in recent memories. In the last at least 5 years for sure. There is no true star talent like you've seen in other NBA drafts. There's no Wemby, there's no Zion, there's no Ja Morant. There's even no Cade Cunningham 2 years ago. There is no top player in this class. That doesn't mean that this draft class doesn't have talent. There are still some studs at the top of the class, but there are no true elite talents, game changers immediately like the guys that I just mentioned. The Atlanta Hawks this season was one of, if not the most disappointing season they've had in the last 5 to 10 years. Maybe 5 years, 10 years ago, they could have had some big disappointments. The Trae Young and DeAndre Murray experiment just isn't working now. Quinn Snyder also isn't working necessarily. Reports are coming out that either my favorite player, Trae Young, or DeAndre Murray gets traded. I hope it's Murray that gets traded, but I understand if they would trade Trae Young because the Atlanta Hawks also are way over the salary cap and they're paying two guys a combined total of $65 million to not even make it to the playoffs. That's just not going to cut it. The Atlanta Hawks are also losing on some other key players. Saddiq Bey, Clint Capella's getting up there in age, but that's a whole video for a separate day. Today is, who are the Atlanta Hawks going to draft first overall? Like I said, I could not have cared about this draft, so I really didn't know too much about many of these prospects, except the guys that played in college basketball, or I should say the NCAA. If you look at the big board here, and shout out to Tankathon, I love Tankathon, I use this all the time. I knew who Reed Shepard was from Kentucky. Obviously Stephon Castle and Donovan Clingan from UConn. I knew about Dalton from Tennessee. I know Rob. I know Devin Carter. I know Cody Williams. I know all the Duke guys, Jared McCain, Kyle Filipowski. So I know all the guys that played college hoops because I watch college basketball. I love college basketball. Could not tell you any of these top guys, though. Alexander Sarr, I had heard of him, but didn't know much about him. There's Zachary Richarche, who I honestly hadn't even heard of at all. Nikola Topic, I had heard of, but some of these top guys, I had to do a lot of research on for this video. I did not know too much about them. Then the Atlanta Hawks came out and got the first overall pick, and now it's like, oh crap, all hands on deck. Yes, this is a weaker draft class, and I've seen some people be like, oh, of course the Hawks waste their first round lottery luck on the weakest draft class in ages. I would still much rather be having pick number 1 than pick number 10. I don't care what the draft class is. Yeah, it's a weaker draft class. We go from pick 1 to pick 10 for free. Anybody would take that. Anyone complaining about this needs to shut up. We got the first overall pick, and from everything I've done and all my research, it's clear to me that this first overall pick will be one of 3 players for the Atlanta Hawks. It will either be Alexander Sarr, Zachariah Rasheer, or Donovan Clingan, center from UConn. One of these 3 guys will be the number 1 pick for the Atlanta Hawks, and I'm going to go over every single one of them now. First and foremost, the guy that I really want the Atlanta Hawks to draft, if I had my way, I would draft Alexander Sarr out of Perth. He played in the French league overseas. What does he bring to the table? Well, first off, you see his build. He's 7'1", 224. I'm 6'2", and weigh 210. So this guy's almost a foot taller than me, but only weighs 15 more pounds. And he is built exactly like Kristaps Porzingis, and he's the player that I would most likely compare him to in terms of where he could be. Now, he doesn't have the three-point shooting that Kristaps Porzingis has, but if you look at him defensively with his length, he's an absolute beast. The Hawks offensively have been great. I think this year the Atlanta Hawks had a top 5 offense, but a bottom 5 defense. The Hawks need defense, and that's exactly what Alexander Sarr can bring to the Atlanta Hawks. Defensively, he's phenomenal. Offensively, he does need to get better and he does need to improve, and that's why he's not a surefire first overall pick. Defensively, he's got the size, he's got the tools, he's great on the interior. He's averaging in the French league 1.5 blocks per game, and if you take that into the NBA, as you can see here, he'll average 3 blocks a game, which is phenomenal. Plus, with his size, he gets you rebounds as well. He's a pretty good throw shooter as well. Trae Young, he can get him the ball inside. 70% isn't the best, but for a big guy, for a 7-footer, that's pretty good. He needs to work on his shooting, especially from deep. But I also look at Derek Lively this year for the Dallas Mavericks. Just that big 7-foot frame who you can just stick in the interior. If anyone tries to go and lays up, they can swat it away. He's incredibly athletic. So he's got the traits that you can't teach. He's got the size and he's got the athleticism. What he needs to do is improve his shooting, which that is something you can teach. You can teach shooting. You can practice shooting. And I think if he was the first overall pick and he went to the Atlanta Hawks, he would gladly help with his shooting. And who's going to help him with shooting? Trae Young. Trae Young, who's one of the best passers in the league, can easily get this guy the ball and put him in great situations. When you look at the Atlanta Hawks, yes, they already have Ogundeji. Clint Capella's on the last year of his contract. You need multiple big guys. Imagine having Ogundeji and Sarr as a 4 and a 5, a 1-2 punch, 2 guys in the interior. Who's going to defend that? You have 2 7-footers. You're going to need another team with 2 7-footers. The only team I can think of off the top of my head is the Minnesota Timberwolves. And look at how dominant the Timberwolves have been when they have Naz Reid and they have Rudy Gobert and they also have Karl Anthony Towns. Yes, both Ogundeji and Sarr don't have the shooting of a Karl Anthony Towns, or they don't have the shooting of a Kristaps Porzingis, but defensively, that's exactly what they have. And we need guys defensively. We need big guys. Ogundeji, in a lot of games you watch as a Hawk, he takes a decent amount of fouls, and we have to pull him out. He's great when he's on the court, but that's what he's doing, is he's being a big guy, he's plugging up the interior, and you're just going to naturally draw fouls. Having 2 guys that can do the same thing is going to be incredible for this Hawks defense, especially with someone like Trae Young, who can feed it up the middle for him, or if you try to double team in the inside, you'll have shooters on the outside. You'll still have Trae Young. You'll still have Bogey. Hopefully AJ Griffin can be what you want him to be. Saddiq Bey, who knows if he'll return for us, but we do have shooters on the outside. I just imagine a starting lineup of Trae Young. You know what? Maybe we keep DeAndre Murray. Maybe we don't. But you got Trae Young, Bogey, Jalen Johnson, Ogundeji, and Sarr. Or you can also have DeAndre Hunter come in, and then you can rotate between Sarr, Ogundeji, and DeAndre Hunter as your 3s and your 4s. I just think that there's a lot of physical potential there for the Atlanta Hawks, and that's why I'm excited about Sarr. Sarr is also someone who I think has the most upside in the class. Out of every single person here that the Atlanta Hawks would actually need, he has the most upside. And what I mean by that is, with going on our second pick here, Zachary Rozier, he is seen as the safe pick. He's someone that has a very high floor, but also a very low ceiling as well. His comparison is Harrison Barnes. And Harrison Barnes isn't a bad player by any means. He is averaging about 12 to 14 points a season, a couple of rebounds, a couple of assists. He's a 3-and-D guy, quote unquote. But like I said, his ceiling isn't really that high. Zachariah Rozier is someone who's going to be able to get you. He's really good at shooting a 3. I think he's about a 38% shooter from the 3. I can click on him right now and we can look at his stats. I don't know why I'm not doing that. Yeah, as you see here, almost 39% from 3. That is phenomenal. He just played in the playoffs in the French league and he looked great. He had more points and assists than he normally does in the regular season for the French league. He was playing phenomenal. 47% field goal percentage is pretty damn good, especially on the outside. Now, like I said, my biggest issue with him is he already at his peak? How much more can you really get from him? He's already shooting incredibly well. He is held back by his athleticism. He just doesn't have as much athleticism as some of the other guys. Now, that doesn't mean that he can't play good defense. He does average about a steal a game, which is nice. But like I said, 3-and-D, I could see some of the best guys in the league absolutely smoking him. And now, obviously, the best guys in the league are smoking everybody. But from a defensive standpoint, he has average defense. Maybe you want to say above average defense. So he's a really good 3-point shooter with average defense. I just don't see him getting that much better. But like I said, he's already at the top because he's someone that could start right away for the Atlanta Hawks. Say we do draft him. You know, we'll have Trae Young and or DeAndre Murray. We'll also have Bogey in there. And then he could be our true 3. We'll have Jalen Johnson or DeAndre Hunter as the 4. And then Clint Capella and Ogundeji at the 5. Like I said, I really like Sarr because Clint Capella is on the last year of his contract. I could 100% see us trading Clint Capella. When you look at our needs, we have Jalen Johnson. I don't like DeAndre Hunter, but we've given him $20 million over the next 3 years, so maybe the team really likes DeAndre Hunter and really likes his defense. I don't know. I hate DeAndre Hunter. That's a topic for another video. I just think that center is a bigger need for us, especially with Clint Capella going out, but I could see in a world where, hey, let's say we trade DeAndre Murray. Trae Young could be our true number 1, and this guy, Zachariah, could be a true number 2 for us, or Bogey's the 2 and he's the 3. We have options here. We truly do have options if we draft Zachariah. I think if we do draft Zachariah, it's probably not good for DeAndre Hunter. I think Jalen Johnson would play our 4, and then Zachariah would be our true 3. So maybe we trade DeAndre Hunter for Zachariah. I couldn't really tell you. I think defensively, DeAndre Hunter's a little better, but Zachariah's a little better offensively, and he's younger, and he doesn't cost that much. So we'll truly see what the Hawks want to do there. And then surprisingly, the last person that has been on the Hawks radar and has been getting a lot of smoke recently is Donovan Clingan from UConn. Now, Donovan Clingan, I might be saying his last name wrong too. Clingan, I think that's how you say it. He's 20, so he's a little bit of an older rookie. But honestly, today in the NBA, that's not a bad thing at all. Again, look at Derek Lively for the Dallas Mavericks. Tall center, older center, who is, I believe, is 20, but has just been able to start right away and play phenomenal basketball for the Dallas Mavericks. Donovan Clingan, phenomenal defensively. Really good defensively. I mean, he's 7'3". You can't get underneath him. Now, he's not as athletic as Sarr by all. He's 2 inches taller, yet he weighs 60 more pounds. He is not as athletic as Sarr or as Wemby, which means that offensively, he does hurt because of that. Offensively, he does not have as much potential as Alexander Sarr does, but defensively, I think he has more potential than an Alexander Sarr because of that extra height. Sarr can't gain an extra 2 inches. And he's a lot heavier too. He's a lot more physical. Guys aren't going to be able to bully him because he's got an extra 60 pounds on him. So it really depends if you're the Atlanta Hawks. What do you want more? Do you prefer the defensive capabilities of Clingan or the offensive potential that Alexander Sarr can bring to your offense as well? Now, in college basketball, Donovan was able to score a lot of points, but if you look at pretty much all of his points, it's just no one could cover him. He's 6'3", and he's going up against all these players that just are nowhere near as physical as him. In the NBA, there are going to be guys that are physical that can cover him. That's just how it's going to go. So him not really having much shooting potential, as you can see here, his 3-throw percentage is under 60%, only 25% from 3. Now, field goal percentage is super high, but that's because he's literally only taking layups and small shots under the bucket. It's reported that the Hawks really like him, and he is a true center. He's a more old school, big-bodied center. Like I said, athleticism isn't there. Jump shot is meh. 3-point shooting is really bad. 3-throw shooting is terrible. So if you're the Hawks, like I said, what do you want? Would you rather have Alexander Sarr, who is big, physical, great defensively, and has potential to be great offensively, or Donovan, who is even better defensively than Sarr, but is more lackluster offensively and just probably will never be able to get there offensively like Sarr can? Like I said, that's why I like Sarr, because we're picking first overall. If you're the Atlanta Hawks, you're not going to be doing shit with Harrison Barnes, Zachariah. You know, we need more defense and we need more offense. I know that no shit, right? You need offense and defense. But if I'm just looking at the Hawks and I'm looking at the potential of Sarr, that's what I like the most. When you get a number 1 overall pick, You want someone that can be a playmaker. You want someone who can go out there and absolutely elevate your franchise. While Zachariah, like I said, he's a good player. He's an above average player, and I don't really see him having the tools to ever be more than good. You know, maybe back end of great, but he won't ever be elite, and he won't ever be really good or great. He'll be good. And with Donovan, great defensively. Great defensively. I look at him like Derek Lively, you know, great defensively, but he's not going to be shooting anything for you. And all of his buckets are going to be from him just protecting the rim, getting put back dunks or alley-oop dunks, you know, which a Derek Lively player is great. He did great for the Dallas Mavericks. So it's just, who do you want? Would you rather have a potential Derek Lively or a potential Kristaps Porzingis? I would rather have a potential Kristaps Porzingis. No knock on Lively, but like I said, both of them are good defensively. Just with Sarr's athleticism, he's able to go out and cover the wing as well. I just like his athletic potential more. But I would also be happy with Donovan Clingan as well. I would not hate that for the Hawks. Like I said, he would be our Clint Capella replacement. And just having two guys, 7'1" and 7'3" on the interior of the defense just sounds so appealing to me. So in my terms of picks, I want Alexander Sarr first, I want Donovan Clingan second, and I want Zachariah third. I'd be pretty disappointed if we took Zachariah. You know, he's still better than anything we would have gotten at pick 10. So he is an upgrade, but he's who I want the least just because of potential. Like I said, first overall pick, I want the sexy potential that Sarr or Clingan can give us. Those would be my first two choices. Anyways, guys, please leave down in the comments below if you agree or disagree with my takes. Like I said, I didn't know too much about the draft coming into this. Donovan's the only guy I actually ever saw live on TV, so I had to look up film for Sarr and Zachariah. I'm really happy with my analysis, but please let me know in the comments down below if you agree or disagree with what I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching, and peace.